My wife, Madison, was the epitome of perfection. At least, that's what everyone thought, and for a long time, that's what I thought too. We had the perfect house, the perfect life, and from the outside, the perfect marriage. Madison was a social butterfly, always hosting elaborate dinner parties, volunteering at every charity event, and managing a popular lifestyle blog where she shared tips on creating a flawless life. Our friends envied us. My family adored her. I felt like the luckiest man alive. But perfection is often just a beautifully constructed illusion. The cracks started to appear so subtly, I almost missed them. It began with late nights at work, which she claimed were for urgent deadlines. Then came the last-minute girls' weekends that I was never invited to join for even a quick dinner. Her phone, once left casually on the coffee table, was now permanently attached to her hip, screen down. When I'd ask about her day, her answers became vague, polished stories that felt more like press releases than genuine conversation. I tried to ignore the gnawing feeling in my gut. I loved her. I trusted her. I told myself I was being paranoid, that her busy schedule was just a phase. She was Madison, the woman who balanced everything with grace. How could I doubt her? But the distance between us grew into a chasm. Conversations became superficial, and our intimacy felt rehearsed. Another item on her perfectly curated to-do list. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. I had a terrible day at work and decided to come home early to surprise her. Maybe we could order takeout, watch a movie, and just be us again, without the performance. As I pulled into the driveway, I saw a sleek, unfamiliar sports car parked out front. My heart started pounding. I walked in quietly through the back door, and that's when I heard it. Laughter. Not just Madison's laughter, but a deep male laugh echoing from our bedroom. My mind went blank. The world seemed to slow down. I stood frozen in the hallway, the grocery bag I'd planned for our surprise dinner slipping from my hand. I quietly walked up the stairs, each step feeling like a ton of bricks. The bedroom door was slightly ajar. I peeked through the crack, and my carefully constructed world shattered into a million pieces. There she was, my perfect wife, with a man I'd never seen before. I didn't storm in. I didn't scream. In that moment, a strange calmness washed over me. The confusion and doubt I'd been wrestling with for months finally solidified into a cold, hard certainty. I backed away silently, went downstairs, and walked right out of the house. I got in my car and just drove. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew I could never go back to the life I had just left. That night, I stayed at a hotel. The next morning, I returned to the house while she was out for her morning run, another part of her perfect routine. I packed a bag with my essentials, but before I left, I did one more thing. I went to her immaculate home office, where she crafted her blog posts about honesty, love, and building a perfect life. I left my wedding ring right in the center of her keyboard. No note, no angry text, just the ring. The symbol of our broken promise, sitting where she built her empire of lies. Her reaction was exactly what I expected. Flood of frantic texts and voicemails. First, confusion. "Luke, where are you? I'm so worried." Then, indignation. "How could you just leave without a word? What is wrong with you?" Finally, when I didn't respond, the facade cracked and a hint of panic seeped through. "Luke, please, we need to talk. This is a misunderstanding." A misunderstanding? Seeing her with another man in our bed was not a misunderstanding. It was a betrayal of the deepest kind. For days, I ignored her calls. I needed to process, to grieve the marriage I thought I had. I confided in my closest friend, Mark, who was shocked but incredibly supportive. He reminded me that Madison's perfection was a brand, not a reality, and I had just been her biggest marketing asset. Finally, I agreed to meet her. We met at a neutral space, a quiet coffee shop. She walked in looking flawless, of course. Her hair was perfect. Her makeup was perfect. And she was wearing an outfit that screamed, "I'm put together," even in a crisis. She started with tears, telling me how stressed she'd been, how lonely she'd felt, how it was a one-time mistake that meant nothing. She spun a beautiful, tragic story where she was the victim, but I wasn't buying it anymore. I had spent days replaying the last few months in my head, and now all the pieces fit. The late nights, the secret phone calls, the emotional distance, it wasn't a phase. It was a double life. I looked her straight in the eye and said, "Madison, I don't want to hear the story you've prepared. I want the truth." For a moment, she faltered. The mask of perfection slipped, and I saw a flicker of the real person underneath, someone who was scared and cornered. She confessed. It hadn't been a one-time thing. It had been going on for nearly 6 months with a wealthy donor from one of her charities. He gave her attention and showered her with gifts, feeding her need for admiration in a way I apparently couldn't. She said she loved me, but was addicted to the thrill, to the validation. She promised it was over, that she would do anything to fix us. But the thing is, you can't fix something that was built on a lie. Her entire identity, our entire life together, was a performance. I realized I wasn't in love with Madison. I was in love with the character she played. The real Madison was a stranger to me. "I can't," I said, my voice steady. "I can't go back to pretending. Your perfect world is an illusion, and I'm done being a part of it." The color drained from her face. I think for the first time she realized she couldn't talk her way out of this. Her charm and her perfectly crafted words had no power here. Leaving her was the hardest and best decision I ever made. The divorce was messy, mostly because she tried to maintain her public image throughout. On her blog, she wrote a vague post about growing in different directions and the importance of self-love during difficult transitions. The irony was staggering. Her followers flooded the comments with support, praising her for her grace and strength. Now, they had no idea about the wreckage she had caused. But I didn't care about her audience anymore. I was focused on rebuilding my own life, a real one this time. It wasn't easy. I had to learn to trust my own judgment again. I had to separate the happy memories from the fiction she had created. Some days were incredibly lonely, but that loneliness was real, and I preferred it to the false sense of togetherness we had. Months turned into a year. I moved to a new apartment, focused on my career, reconnected with old friends, and found hobbies that were just for me. Started hiking, something Madison had always called too dirty. I found joy in simple, imperfect moments of burnt dinner that made me laugh. A spontaneous road trip with a friend, a quiet evening with a good book. One day I ran into one of our old mutual friends. She hesitantly told me that Madison's life had started to unravel after I left. Without me as her anchor, her perfect image began to crumble. Her affair partner had left her for someone else, and her blog's popularity dwindled as her content became more and more desperate. Her perfect world, it turned out, needed me to exist. I didn't feel joy at her misfortune, just a sense of sad finality. My journey wasn't about revenge. It was about liberation. I had escaped a gilded cage. Today my life isn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It's messy, it's unpredictable, and it's mine. And I wouldn't trade it for all the fake perfection in the world. I learned that true happiness isn't about creating a flawless image for others to admire. It's about being honest with yourself and building a life, however imperfect, that is genuinely your own. Thank you for watching. If you've been through something similar or just want to share your thoughts, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.